Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. It is Thursday night. It's only been 2 weeks since we played last, episode
Don't
26
get used to it.
of Forbidden Lands. So, I gotta check my levels. I'm coming in hot here. There we go. Let's jump in. So, we left off with you headed south towards the mines, and Sten noticed across the river that somebody was trying to obfuscate or minimize some campfires. And in the process of keeping watch, as we walked into a new hex, as we walked through the waist-high grasslands, you were ambushed. You quickly realized that both Sten, Aldrich, and Osric have three different people with arrows pointed at them. Can't really see who they are because they're still crouched in the grass, but you can see their left hand holding the bow and the point of the arrow pointed right at you. And then somebody, a young woman, has grabbed Vasilla and by the waist and has lifted her up and covered her mouth. She has spoken to you, asking what your business is here. Now, we closed with Aldrich piecing some things together. He could see on around this woman's neck, the sign of the raven, which is identical to the symbol that Nirvea had, which Aldrich now has in his pocket. And just style of clothing, the black leather type of clothing this woman was wearing was very similar to what Nirvea had. What is your business?
Whoa. We don't want any trouble here, but I think you're going to want to put her down.
Need to understand who you are.
Keeping hands very clear, the bows, obviously.
I'll put the child down
She's
as soon as I understand who you are.
We're travelers. So just to be clear, Aldrich was the only one who figured out the connection with the Raven sisters?
I think all four of you have figured out that connection.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
you've all spent the same amount of time. You all can see this, that she has the same symbol, and you all remember that conversation.
Okay. All right.
Where she said she was staying with fellow sisters to the south.
We're just travelers, and we owe our lives to one of your order, and there's actually a whole story there if you'd be willing to sit peacefully and hear it, but we're on your side.
Who of our order do you know?
Nirvea.
So we see one of the sisters that has the arrow pointed at Aldrich stand. She's in a very similar getup, also with black hair, older than the woman that's holding Vasilla. And she says, Zara, do we think these are the four? And Zara, you see her eyes kind of roll up as she looks up to the sky. You can tell she's thinking. And then she sets you down, Vasilla. She said, it could be. She looks to you, Aldrich, and goes, are you Aldrich?
Yes, I am.
The other women stand. The bows go down. Zara, who we now know her name to be, says, let's go to the camp. You can come with us. As you work your way through the grasslands, there's a slight, almost small valley decline area surrounded by marked by a very large boulder. And as you kind of go around that large boulder, you see the camp itself. And there might be 15 tents the way that they're built, you can tell that they're have been here for a while, but they could be packed up. So these aren't the type of tents that travelers making camp one night would do. They've really kind of built a small, tiny little village here. You can see where the leather coverings, the wood, natural wood stakes that are holding these tents up. You see women tending to the fire, cooking. Off stand, you can see a woman practicing her bow, shooting against a dead tree just on the other side of outside of camp. Any conversations we want during the walk?
I'm curious about how many people does it look like are in this camp? So we've got like 10 with us.
Yeah, you would say, I mean, you can see you've got obviously the 4, Zara and the other 3 that are with you. And visibly, you can see about another 6 or 7. But
Okay.
based on the tents, it could be as many as 15.
Okay, so these are like one person tents each. Okay.
Well, some of the tents are larger, though. Some of the tents, like there's one tent in the center that could easily house 4 or 5 people.
Okay.
I'm an adult, by the way.
So Zara looks down to you and she goes, "You are. You're small.
Yeah. So there's like dwarves and
You're a dwarf.
no, I'm a halfling. We're much more civilized and like frankly prettier than every dwarf.
Halfling. Did not know that the halflings still walked Ravensland.
Yeah. Why we're short, approximately 1/2. Really quite quick-witted naming.
So she has a bit of a smirk on her face as you walk. She's a bit amused by this.
Maybe I should stay here with them. They like your jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now.
So
They're not as much fun as grumpy old men.
Zara takes you into the center tent, which appears to be her tent, the largest of them. There's mats on the ground that you're invited to sit with her. She offers water, food. So you guys are all set as far as water and food is concerned, assuming you're going to take it.
Yeah.
And she says,
Yep.
"So did you come from the north, from the Hollows?"
Yeah.
Yes.
We do. We have news, sadly.
What news?
Although it sounds like you know a great deal already, but Vasily, you wanna tell him? You seem enthusiastic.
Nirvea has been murdered by a Rust Brother acolyte in the town.
To punctuate this, Aldrich would procure the amulet and put it on the table. We recovered that from her assailant.
We rooted him out and slayed several of the people from the Rust home to the west, but the child is
Yeah, Hagler's house, I believe they call it.
Hagler's house. The child, the one that
innkeeper's boy.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Nirvea
Right
suspected.
now he's in the innkeeper's custody right now, and
Custody.
I have a feeling he will not suffer much for this.
What did they do with her body?
Her body was under her bed last I saw it. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, they brought her out. I seem to remember.
Yeah,
but
I don't
know if they. I don't think we saw them bury it or burn it or do anything in particular. I don't know.
One of the women that is in. So you've got the 4 of you. You've got Zara. There's a couple other Raven sisters also in the tent, kind of behind, right? Not in the same circle with the 5 of you. She motions to one of them, and she says, Martella, I think we need to get Rook. Can you have him come in? And the woman stands and walks away. Nirvea had a son,
Mm.
and he should know.
Yeah.
It's my understanding, according to Nirvea, that you have started to collect the old stones.
Well, kind of by chance.
If you know of them, we'd like to hear your knowledge, your lore, later, once.
Well,
You
she
know.
mentioned to me that you already have Algared. Is that correct?
Yes.
May I see it?
I'll just kind of stretch and pull it out from the bag and kind of hold it out. Doesn't let it go, but he just kind of.
And it looks like she's waiting for you to hand it to her.
With your eyes, Craig.
And just so you know, Aldrich,
It,
there's nothing suspicious, right? So
Mhm.
it and I'm not saying you should give it to her, but there's nothing indicating for Aldrich to feel like she's duplicitous in any way.
Be warned, priestess, that it does take something from you to hold it for some time. Although I don't know how quickly the king claims his due.
Oh, little one, all the old stones do. All the old stones do.
And he kind of offers it to her. And as she goes to grab it, does the news travel so fast you knew my name?
Nirvea talked of you.
it was a matter of hours between. Well, no, she might have had a. It's the bird, isn't it?
It is the bird.
It's the bird.
It's the
Makes
bird.
sense.
And of course, the trickster.
Hmm.
The trickster came by.
How is she?
She's her. Not to be trusted.
Seems
So
like there's few enough to be.
she takes the staff and she looks at it. And you see kind of her hand drop. It's heavier than she anticipated when you hand it to her. And she's looking at the heartstone, the elven heartstone. And do you know of Algared? Do you know who you have here?
There were some stories in the castle where we found it, but nothing comprehensive.
So she hands it back to you, Aldrich. She says,
Takes back.
he was one of the first of the elven kin that came here with the 5 sisters. He was dropped by the Red Wanderer along with the 5 sisters. And his love for them led to him being one of the first kings of Ravensland. The other stones are those of the sisters. And one of the last things that Algared did before reverting to his stone was to create the crown so that they could all be together again. Stanagist is its name. I can tell by your faces you know nothing of Stanagist. Each of these stones have great power. Algared has power over the clay and over the earth. All the sisters each have power. But you bring them together onto the crown. And it's a whole whole nother level of power. Power that I wouldn't even begin to explain or understand.
And you think
Where
that's
were
a
you
good
headed?
idea, do you?
Well, it depends. It depends on where you fall on the side of Rust, the side of Raven. Whether you back
Well,
Zygrafer, even in his new form.
We are
well,
no fans of Rust.
mhm.
It's going to be the Stanagist crown is the only thing that could potentially bring down Zygrafer. It's why he wants it.
Is he Zartum now? His former son?
No, Zartom is his son. You know nothing of this family, do you?
We've heard a lot of stories, but frankly, we're not sure we can believe any of them.
And
They
competing
all seem to
stories.
match up.
They're all legends, of course. Let me explain. As she does that, a boy walks in. He's about 10 years old. Rook, come here. He comes over. He's slender. He's got like a whitish blonde hair. Very different than the hair that Nirvea had. He sits down. He's got pale skin, beautiful young skin. A handsome
Don't make
man.
it creepy, Craig.
Yeah, he's maybe 6 foot tall, and at 10 years old, that's a
That's a big boy.
pretty good height.
He's going to be a big one.
Yeah, he's a bit of a string bean, all legs, all arms. And as he sits down and you look at him and kind of take him in, Zara tells him about his mother. And he's somewhat stoic. And as you watch for his reaction, a tear is forming from his yellow eyes. So, Rook, we're all your mothers. And we'll bring justice. And we'll bring peace. Now run along. He kind of stands up and walks over to one of the sisters who walks him out.
Hold. I don't know the way of your people, but I'll hold out my hand to Aldrich. May I have his mother's amulet, please?
Take it from the table and
And
give it to you.
I'll walk over and say, "This is your mother's."
And he looks down at it and he doesn't take it from you. He just puts his hand out.
Like no, or like
No,
to receive it.
yeah, to receive it.
That I will hand it to him.
And he kind of leans down and he seems fascinated by your red hair. And he says, "Thank you."
I'm sorry we couldn't save her.
Me too. So Zara says, "I don't know where to start to explain Zygrafer. So before the mist, he fought against the demons that were coming from the west. It was clear that him alone, along with the kings, would not be able to stop them. He took his wife, his son, and his 2 daughters to the Vale of the Dead and studied. He studied dark magics. he then greatly increased the portals that brought the demons in. Now, I don't know if he caused the mist or somebody else or something else caused the mist, but this mist saved Ravensland. But he's in a new form. His wife and one of his daughters, the youngest, they fled the Vale of the Dead with Zertome, their son, leaving him just the oldest sister. They've now combined into a form of pure demonic evil. Zertome has gone to Amber's Peak. He's trying to gather an army, trying to gather Elanders, as well as the horse clans from the west. The mother and the daughter went to the mines and have been hiding there. We've stayed around close, keeping an eye, having sisters at Amber's Peak, having eyes on the mines. I don't know if Zygrafer knows where they are. And I don't know what their intentions are or whether Zygrafer even cares at this point.
What if the demon lady that had the face was the Zygrafer daughter creature thing?
Could be.
You're talking about his fire demon, the woman.
Yeah.
No, that's his magics. That's Zertome playing with forces that he is not strong enough to handle. She stole his face
Oh, well, now it's a
In it-
slightly holier face.
in exchange for her essence to allow him to continue to experiment to create these awful demonic hybrids. Men with the heads of steers and nostrils of flames.
Oh, we've met.
Boars the size of mountains. Yes, yes.
What is the plan for the four of you?
Well, seeing as you mentioned the mine, that was the lead we were following.
The trickster sent us there, though. And as you say, she's not the most trustworthy.
Be very, very careful. Because he can be very dangerous.
So,
Wait, he?
Marigal, the trickster.
Yeah. We encountered her in a female form.
Marigal comes in lots of forms.
Yeah. Is one of them. Wait, so you know a lot. Sorry, and golden eyes we thought were shapeshifters of some kind because we saw a stag, we saw the hawk, which might be Rook, I guess. There was a mouse once with golden eyes. Marigold has golden eyes.
They were all likely
there was a
Marigal.
child.
The children, no. But Marigal, he will take the forms of animals at times.
Mm-hmm.
And they will always have the eyes. But the children are his children. Rook is one of them.
Yeah.
And they're nodes for Marigal.
Zertorm has at least one.
I'm sure Marigal put the child there. Marigal uses them. That's how he travels. In an instant, he can be with any of his children. They're all over Ravensland.
So is he a demon?
He's old. He's old, and the stories of Marigal, for every one story, there's another story that contradicts it. There's stories that say that Marigal was key to combining Zygrafer with his daughter to create the beasts. There's stories that he has been exiled and now wants to bring Zygrafer down. But you could never know why. Just be careful with him.
I've been trying.
Do you know that Irkline is also in the mines? One of the sisters?
The stone, yes, we did.
Yes, we had been told about that. We didn't know the name.
She's in the Bloodstar clasp. Similar to what you have. And she points Sten to where your hood and cape are cut there. I would imagine you've got some sort of thing that attaches it, right? Some sort of
Yeah. A
clasp
brooch or
there.
a pin, yeah.
And she says, like you have there, but obviously far more decorative. I believe that was the only stone that Zygrafer had found. And I believe that that's why they fled and took her to the mines.
The mother and daughter, right?
Correct.
There are ghosts at the mine now, we think.
I've seen them. I've seen them. I can't tell. I can't tell if they're Marga or not. Some of them look like Marga. That's the youngest daughter. I don't know if they're a manifestation of something else in those mines. But be careful, because we know of an entire group of dwarves that went into those mines, I would say 4 cycles ago, maybe. And they've yet to emerge. And I don't know, after all this time, what condition or form Martea, the mother, and Marga, the daughter, are in.
Do we think the wife and daughter are still on his side?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. There's the legends say that once Zygrafer started dealing with types of magic, necrotic magic, that was too much and too far. And only the oldest, Thorania, stayed, but the rest left and fled. But what they're trying to do, what they're running from, what they want, nobody knows.
This might sound childish, but I don't actually know who Raven and the rest are. Our village didn't have gods. And Rust apparently eats children and murders people, and
So Rust is a perversion. So the raven brought the worm over from the east. And we humans followed them. That's how we got here. We found the elves. They were here. All descendants of the 5 sisters. And the dwarves, of course. And as men and women can be, there was frictions. But Algarad had a soft spot for our people, and he gave us the Southlands. He lifted the mountains that separates the Aelander lands to the south and Raven's Land. And you guys have all heard stories that that's where the majority of human civilization has been, and it's been separated from Raven's Land. And it's just in the last, excuse me, it was just in the last like 100 years before the Mist that people were migrating from the south. Not clear why. There's different stories of why people were leaving the south. But your town was founded about a century before the Mist dropped, and all the humans in that town came from or descendants from the Aelanders to the south.
Do you know what happens to the other half of the halfling births? Do they gather in a place?
How much did your parents tell you?
Not as much as I'd like.
Well, you have a twin. You have a twin, and he would be goblin. Or she. Typically, for your people, they would be separated. And your brother or sister is likely living with their clan.
Yeah, he was stolen one night. Do they have a village? They're not killed, are they?
Goblins can be everywhere. Sometimes they'll be in the mountains. Sometimes they'll just travel. With the mist up, I would imagine we'll start to see goblins traveling again. Some for trade, some for good, some for evil. They're no different than dwarves. They're no different than men.
Good. As you might imagine, the tales are often
I would be careful with this knowledge, though. There are people that if they understood the secrets of the halflings, it could be bad. It would be bad for the halflings because there's many, many people who do not trust the goblins. If they understood that goblins and halflings are one and the same, I would just be careful. Now, have you visited your people?
I have people? No, just my family at home.
There's whole large groups of halflings off to the east.
No. Maybe after all of the stones and demons and this mess that we found ourselves in is done.
What can we do to help?
They haven't tried to kill us, so really you're doing better than many.
A step in the right direction.
Point of order.
You're not far. Point of order. What? Go ahead. Austin.
They did threaten our lives.
Well, yes, but they didn't do
Briefly.
anything.
That's a security check.
It's
Trespassers.
fine.
Yeah.
So she says she can give you very clear directions to the entrance to the mines. That you're not far. In fact, you can see the mountains obviously from this encampment here. Best guess is maybe that you're about 8 or 10 miles from the actual foothills of the mountains. She said it's about another 20 or so miles south to get to the mines. She is willing to offer you provisions. She's willing to offer you beds.
Yeah, a night's sleep and a place to to breathe for a minute would be good.
Agreed.
You know so much. Do you know how to handle ghosts? We found this, and I'll take out the flute. The last ghost we met had this, and there was a fire that we had to put out with a cloak. And is Marta solved that way if she needs solving?
So she has a bit of a reaction seeing the flute. And she goes, "That's the Tezar. Have you
What?
played it?"
Yes, it was a beautiful song.
Nothing happened?
Oh no, I
Something
could walk through
happened.
water.
It was in a
What you
big
have
white
is
bubble.
very dangerous. It has killed many. Many, many minstrels have died playing the Tezzer. Half into a wall when they stop playing.
Yeah, don't do that.
You don't want people to know you have it. It has a power that draws desires. Its songs can lure people, and they would sooner kill you to possess it.
Hmm.
So as much as you're hiding Algared, you should hide that as well.
I think the Rust brothers were after this in some way. They're after something in that town.
Well, I'm sure. They've wanted to have the Hollows for the longest time.
Just seems odd.
Why? It's at the juncture of two rivers.
Yeah.
There's a direct line. It's in the center of Ravensland.
It's
They have
tactical.
the Hagler's house is way far west. Having control of the Hollows would be important to the Rust brothers.
Yeah, they almost had another fort on the river a little farther east, but that's been stopped for now.
So as we get into the fourth quarter day, we don't need any keep watches or anything like that. Everybody can sleep. She gives you guys a tent for the four of you. It's large enough to keep you. Is there anything we want to do before we sleep into the fourth quarter?
Well, once we have a little privacy, Stan is going to kind of turn to Vasilla and says, "What is all that about a goblin brother? What the... What?"
There's a reason we're all on the road.
Oh.
We didn't start off
Kiddo.
looking for elf heart stones and dragons
Yeah.
and eating children and demons.
Yeah.
But we're after children to start. At least I was.
Yeah. Sorry, kiddo.
Me too.
All right, let's take us to the first quarter. So 6 a.m. on the 32nd day of Spring Rise. What's our game plan?
All right, so meta speaking, I think this is like our best shot to like train.
Take a
and
day.
Take like if you want to like
Mm-hmm.
repair your bow or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Sounds like a lovely
Yeah,
idea.
if anyone has anything broken, let me know.
Oh,
Yeah, if you guys want to take 3/4 days and just let me know what you want to do with
that
them.
would be...
yeah, I think
That
I'm
would
going to
be
do.
lovely.
I'm going to do some training myself. So I've got a fair chunk of willpower. So I'm thinking. Hold on, let me save my journal before I murder it and lose all my fancy just learned things. Save button, save. Save changes, yes. That's what I want. All right, hopefully that's saved. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna try to. So one thing I would like to discuss with you guys as a mentorship group, like I need to learn how to fight. Like so next morning, Vasil will be like, I need to learn how to fight, or at least be more helpful than just screaming at the top of my lungs. Obviously, I can't learn the sword.
I mean, you're a good screamer.
Oh, well, you have to yell loud enough to get through your poor hearing.
Yeah.
I was hoping to learn how to maybe throw a sling. Your bow's too large. Your sword's too
Well, they
sword
make
and axe
smaller
and
ones.
magic. Would you be able to show me that, old man?
If you listen to what I'm telling you for a change.
I always listen. Well, I always
Well,
hear. Sometimes
right.
I listen.
Right. Well, I mean, sure, I'll be happy to give you a shot.
All right.
So are we
You
thinking
know,
of training a skill here?
Yeah, so I want to learn, I
Marksmanship?
think, marksmanship, level 1, which I
And
think
you've
is the
got a
right thing to
mentor.
learn. To learn use a sling, I think I looked it up.
Yep. Yeah, I would expect
Do you
so.
want to? And you can use it for a sling, or I'm pretty sure we have short bows here. Let me see.
Well, I was thinking I can't carry things. I'm too weak to carry stuff.
Right.
I can teach you to carry things too, but
quite possibly to in my head, Vasil's not strong enough to really pull a bow. Like she's
Sure.
strength 2. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Sure.
momentum is more of her friend than
right.
So, and plus she likes to be down on the river and she can grab good river rocks while she's fishing in the lake. So what do I need to roll with a teacher, if anything? I don't remember.
I don't think you need to roll if you have a teacher usually.
Yeah, no,
I
you
don't
just
think you roll for
spend
skills at all.
yeah, one quarter day. Well, this is a talent, not a skill. Or no, you're going for the skill.
Marksmanship is a skill. Yeah.
Got
So-
it. You're going for the skill. Got it. All right.
Right,
Yeah,
should be
so-
5 experience. Pardon me, according to my little cheat sheet I made for what I was
Yeah.
trying to learn.
Yeah, what we figured out the last time it was you have to have tried to use the skill previously to level it up, but if you have a trainer, you just can train with it.
Yeah.
Great. So you go ahead and bump. So you're going to level 2 marksmanship.
At level 1, I have none currently.
Okay, so you put it at 1 because I show you at 1 right now.
Yes, I just put it up.
Okay, great.
I just
And
lowered
you-
my experience to 15 and put it
Yep,
up.
and you spent the
Mhm,
XP.
I
Great.
did. Yep.
Now
and if I have,
that'll take you 1 quarter day.
Mhm.
Let's take a look here. And if you want, let me just take a look. There's someone who within the camp that can sell you a sling.
Yes,
for 1
and I would
silver.
like to. I'll purchase a sling for a silver.
Okay, so drop a silver, and I will add a sling.
Fine, silver minus. Hopefully, a sling is in fact light with its rocks. It is light, good. Which is a
Put it in your
half.
backpack. And then go ahead and set your arrows to the highest
Okay,
die type.
I've done so.
Okay.
Must be nice to just be able to pick ammo up off the ground.
It is. So I was assuming that we have 3 full quarter days. Just to
Yep.
skip ahead, I'm intending to take the throwing arm talent with that, showing both like I'm learning the skill, but also that I am naturally talented at sling use. If that makes sense for you guys,
Mhm.
or I guess specifically for Craig.
Yeah.
So we do have to roll for that though, right? That's
Talents.
I don't think any of us know it. Yeah, if it's
Right.
talent and you don't have a
Okay,
teacher.
you have to train in talents. Okay, cool. So I have to roll. I need to get rid of some stuff because I'm so freaking weak. Okay, I'll look it up. You guys go and do your first day. I'll look up the rolls
great.
and figure it out.
So is my quarter day taken up training, Vasilla?
No.
My first one?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
No, well,
I'll
everybody
just look
everybody
over
will get 3.
periodically. Just look over periodically and say, nope,
No,
liar. To the
do it
left.
again.
That's a terrible rock.
Take a lap.
Rocky montage
So-
music.
Pretty much, yeah. So I was going to ask if anybody here, because I've been focusing on talents a lot lately, but I'm getting to the point where skills are starting to become more important. Anybody here good at reading people that could teach Sten some tips on insight? Because that is a skill I don't have, and I feel like I should. Oh God,
Yeah,
I have to listen to you.
insights as a skill.
I love that the two of
Okay.
you now have to teach each other this.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's the
enjoy this
worst.
visualization of this montage between
More
us for the
Vasilla Sten
day.
moments.
So yeah, we'll have that kind of a mutual teaching session. So yeah, go ahead. And
Oh
spend,
yes, it's the best.
go ahead and
Alright,
spend
so
the
that's
XP.
5 XP for a point of insight.
You know,
Right.
if you would just listen to me, you would have been able to figure out they were lying so much
I've
faster.
been listening to you. You haven't been saying anything that makes sense.
How about
You've been
Osric?
hearing, Stan.
so we've
You've
got
been hearing, not listening.
1 quarter day spent by Sten, 1 quarter day spent by Vasilla.
Oh gosh, what am I gonna do with myself? I think I'm going to attempt to pick up a talent, and I think that talent
Whoop. I do not have a strong arm.
Okay.
will be threatening.
Oh, interesting.
And I think our little conversation with our goofball imp is sort of the beginnings of that. And so with threatening, I don't know if I can probably figure out how to link that in the chat. I guess I should just roll to find out if I get it.
Yeah, let's see if you get it first.
That's a wits roll, is that right?
yeah,
Talents are wits rolls. Are you learning a skill or a talent?
Fantastic. That
Oh,
should
this is
be
a talent.
So wits, yeah.
womp womp. So I'm not going to learn threatening, but I'm going to think
Okay.
really hard about it.
It's really mean mugging about the camp.
All right. And how about you, Aldrich?
Aldrich is going to so he kind of takes out the old heart scar and takes a good look at it, and it's acquired a couple chips and a little bit of rust damage. So we're gonna go about and see if we can, get some time to get that fixed up. So we're gonna do a crafting roll.
Yep, and they've got a small forge fire that you can use.
Cool. As I say, probably have a whetstone or something.
Yep.
That is perfectly enough to get her back up to full.
Great. All right. Everybody's got 2 more left. We know Vasilla's spending it, trying to learn her talent. How about Sten?
Sten, I think, is going to improve fast footwork, which I learned last time. So he's just going to step that up to rank 2.
All right. And what's that give you?
That gives me +1 to dodge.
Nice.
Simple but effective.
Yep. Aldrich?
1 second. If you want to jump to someone else for a second.
Osric?
These are good questions. I hadn't really thought about it. I should have spent more time thinking about it like Dave. Dave has a little chart full of all of his plans. I don't have a chart full of my plans.
I did my homework at one point. Tim was too busy making an entire list of gear for the 73 games he plays.
Exactly. I have whole other characters that have talents that I've planned out while I was
I've read,
not doing this work.
How much XP do you have?
I have 15 XP, Craig. Which is a
Spend some
lot
of
of
that.
XP. I should.
So rank 2 of a skill is 10 XP.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is.
So 15 feels like a lot for the beginning. Beginnings
right.
of
It's a
things.
lot at the beginning, and it's not a lot at the end.
So
Or
you've
even in
got
the middle.
pack rat at 1. You could bump
Yeah,
that
I'm
up
looking
to
at my
2.
skills, and that's what I'm trying to think about is something in that space. But I also have the problem of having never used them. So I do like the idea of pack rat. Am I allowed to take another shot in the second quarter. How long do I have to wait to try that?
You can
again?
go every quarter day. It says
Then I'm
learning a
just
new
gonna-
skill takes quarter day. If you
That's
fail,
to
you keep
learn
the
the new
XP
skill.
and can try
Yes.
again next quarter day.
Okay.
You want to try that in quarter 2 to give it another roll?
I'm gonna give it another roll. Why not?
Skills you have to use and or
Skills I have to
a
use
teacher,
and
but
succeed with, or
talents.
have someone to teach me.
Talents you can keep trying to be talented.
Alright. We're gonna try that again. This is not gonna work out for me. Clearly not as threatening as
You're
just
just
not
Nirvea.
fundamentally
threatening,
too
man.
kind.
Just a
Terrible
giant
student.
teddy
You got
bear.
a soft
I like
face.
this like triangle of teaching we've got going on. I feel like you're trying to mean mug someone. I'm trying to explain how to. Sten's like, but you look like friendly. I'm like, yes, he does look friendly. And you're like, no, I'm mean.
I'm not
angry.
friendly.
I'm not friendly. Exactly. I'm very threatening.
Did you figure it out, Aldrich?
Yeah. So actually, while I was about town gathering equipment for fixing up my axe, could I also have acquired another thing of lamp oil?
You sure can. So let's take care of that.
As well as if I could get, how much space does a tiny object take inventory wise?
Let's take here. So
I don't
you're
think they count.
I'm currently at a 12 out of 13, which is why I'm being
all right. So your lamp oil is going to be 2 copper.
okay. Got that.
And do you already have some in here?
No, I do not. That's why I was
so-
buying some.
Yeah. All right. So I've added it to your backpack.
All right. So is tiny's 4 per one?
Yeah, you're at 12 and a half out of
Yeah.
your 13.
Yeah.
That doesn't take up your whole quarter today, though. Buying a lamp
Right.
oil.
Yeah. I'm just trying to finalize my shopping list. So the other thing I want to grab is an ink and quill and some parchment.
Mhm.
So like three sheets of parchment and an ink and quill, and that should fill me up.
Okay. So the ink and quill will cost you 2 silver.
Okay.
Thanks for saying help with this, Germany, for the old like we can actually breathe for a half second and not almost die.
Training montage.
Soon.
Hashtag soon.
All right. So I've got your ink and quill in there
All right. And then some parchment.
and some parchment. All right. That is going to be 6 copper.
Okay.
And that is now in your inventory.
I guess this would go to 9 and -1 silver. Okay. All right. And then what Aldrich's going to do is take some time and actually start doing the rune magician thing and actually like inscribe some spells to paper for a while he watches his allies mean mug and sling each other.
Excellent. Excellent. Have you figured out which ones you're going to?
Let's see.
So you're using Path of Signs, right?
Yeah. So drawing a symbol takes a few minutes and cannot be done in the heat of battle. So the question is, how many would I be able to like get down with just a sheaf of paper, essentially?
Let's say 5.
5? Okay.
All right. How about third quarter day?
I'm going to use my last 15 experience to increase my lore skill to 3 because
Nice.
I can't think of another time where I'm going to learn nearly as much.
Yeah,
as
I
right
think
here.
spending time with Zara over
Yeah.
over maybe over dinner.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, like you can easily see that one getting
Oh yeah.
taught in this particular location.
No, that's great.
Also,
Oh,
quick
go ahead.
quick thing from the gear location. I'm pretty sure it's calculating incorrectly. It's counting lights. I should have 4 regular spots.
Well, don't
and it's
forget your
counting.
food, water, and arrows.
Do they count for 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
That's
one
the part it's
apiece.
not.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
seeing any
stones
encumbrance.
shouldn't, but maybe they do. Maybe they're.
Okay, Diamond. I need to figure out how to ditch weight. That's fine. I'll work on it.
All right, so that's third quarter for Vasilla, Osric, and Sten.
I think I'm gonna grumbly pack rat it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm also increasing pack rat because
Beautiful.
it's gotten to that stage.
All right, and
can I just do that?
Yeah, since you have
If
it, you can
have
just
it at level
increase it.
1, right? Yeah.
yeah, and one of the sisters throughout the day comes over with a large bundle of torches, and she says to you, I understand you're going to the mines. You'll need these, so you guys can all max out your torch die.
Mm,
That
Oh,
seems
good. Now
important.
that I can afford to carry them.
I will not do
important.
so.
And that cost me 6, so I'm down to 9.
And are we going to rest?
Yeah,
Go
so
to
the
the
fourth quarter
33rd
was
day?
going to rest.
I
Yeah.
think so.
All right.
Now that I have a full pack of torches, and we got 2 more pack ratters, someone needs to take something from me.
Let me know what do we want to do here. So Aldrich, you're
I have like half a pound to spare if I'm carrying torches.
right.
I could
I don't know.
hand someone the fishing hook.
Like a single fishing hook is your problem.
Yeah,
So,
basically.
So heavy.
It's the
so
fishing
much.
hook that broke the camel's back.
It's so much. Yeah, I have plenty of space now. Right?
Or do you want to take your tent back?
Oh, I could probably
You
take
give
the
me some
tent back.
breathing room.
That makes good sense. I'll carry the tent.
All right, let me take care of that.
Just do it myself.
Thank you, Craig. No, we can't pass stuff, unfortunately.
Watch me.
Oh, okay then. I believe in
I
you.
don't know. I don't know.
I
if
believe the strong back of Osric.
All right. So Osric now has the tent.
Cool. I guess I'm gonna need to ditch some stuff for me. So, I'm gonna give
Put
my
another fish hook.
lyre.
I'll take the fish hook.
You can have the fish hook and line, and then I'll give I'll
And line. Wow.
well,
That's
it's part
too
of the
much.
same bit.
It's only 1/2 slot, right?
And
Oh, goodness.
then I'm gonna have to trade my lyre down. I think my beautiful lyre.
What?
So do you want Osric to carry it? Dave?
I didn't
Yeah,
read that
I guess
right,
so.
right?
Okay.
Well, you need
If you
Osric's
can.
permission to play music. Okay.
Don't really want to get rid of it, but still offering covered, man. I'm so weak.
Yeah, that 2 is not
2 is
a
rough.
lot of weight to carry.
I mean, I'm at 3 and I'm barely scraping along, so I don't know how you do it with 2.
I guess I'm not seeing in the rules the food die. Can I stop carrying as much food?
I think
Sure.
all of your food takes 1 slot.
Regardless of
Like,
how much.
yeah.
It is.
Right,
Yeah,
'cause
if
it's
you
not.
have food,
I-
it is 1 slot. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like it's not like each
Yeah,
each
yeah,
die
yeah.
does not count as food. It's food and how
I'll
well
figure it
you
out.
use it,
Let's
and so on and so
move
forth.
on.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll find a.
But
so
yeah, I have
let's-
space to carry your lyre. I'm sure your lyre is.
Okay, and then the fishing hook and line is still on there, and if that comes out, I think I'm okay.
So
I'm-
are we thinking first quarter we're going to hit the road?
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
probably.
All right. So let's go on. We go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and then we'll start heading south.
All
Back
right.
in 10 minutes. All right, we are back. So let's go to the world map. And it's my understanding we're headed south.
That's where our directions lead us. Excuse me.
All right.
And we'll thank Zara for her hospitality on our way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and does she have any suggestions as to where we take this gem if we find it?
So she says it's not known where the crown is. And she does not know where any of the other stones are, so she wasn't much help in that respect. She only knows about the clasp.
Okay. Well,
all right, let's go to the party sheet.
She was more than enough help, so
good.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll keep leading the way.
You're so good at it.
Get to it. Survive.
Frequently, yes.
Before we leave, I'm gonna leave a little parchment for Rook that is a song for his mother.
Very nice.
But I'm not gonna go talk to him about it. I don't want to do that. I just want to here, this is for Rook.
So we've got heavy rains as you guys are traveling.
Well,
I
guess. Are we just gonna head off then?
Yeah.
So
roll my dice.
Here we go. I'm hanging out.
Here we go.
Yep. So let's get we need to lead the way.
Led.
Okay, 2 successes on that. Good.
Keep watch.
Successful on the keep watch.
Yay.
So soon after leaving the camp, you get to the foothills of these mountains. And she explained that you could go west and then south. It'll add maybe a half a day to the travels. Or she talked about a path through these mountainous foothills that'll take you directly to the Stone Loom mines, which is the path you guys took. Very different landscape than what you've been traveling for a while now. You've been in grasslands and in hills for a while. Now you're even though you're adjacent to it at Amber's Peak, we are now in a scenario where as you're walking through these paths, you've got sheer, large 30, 40 foot peaks, sometimes to your left, sometimes to your right, as you're starting to work your way through these mountains. With the rain, the way it's coming down, in some ways it's made it a little bit better. It's, as the wind shifts on it and the wind goes and the rains go sideways, you guys are able to kind of move along the path to kind of minimize how much of the weather that you keep. But you guys travel for 3 or so hours, rather uneventful.
Nice. Keep on keeping on.
Yep, no reason to stop.
All right. So we're going to continue south.
Dun.
It's a space with words on it.
Same thing. I need my rolls.
Alrighty.
Not a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, problem.
All right. So survival, they'll lead the way. No issues. But we did miss our keep watch. Anything we want to do about it?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and push it.
What could possibly?
Might as well.
Do you want to do better?
Absolutely not.
You did want to do better. It's all that rain. Just like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
He just wants more willpower.
Just
That's
let
all
you
it is.
borrow the helmet so that you can keep your.
Give me just a second here.
Get away my secrets, Brian.
I was kind of hoping I failed one of those, so I might get a little willpower myself, but we probably won't need it. Fighting ghosts in a mine.
I mean, it'll be fine. You'll make willpower when you're there.
All right. So, get myself orientated here real quick. So you guys are traveling through, and you get to an area where the path now opens up, and you realize off to your right, off to the west, you can now see more grasslands and hills extending off. And where the path ends is large ruin, maybe the size of Oakenheart. You can see that there at some time there was a structure here, but it's old, very, very old. So there's ruins of a wall in certain locations, and you can see where different pillars and structures are. But what stands out the most, and what the women warned you about, is the entrance of the mine. So it's this huge 15-foot tall entrance, and it's got a gate that's half open. The metal is rusted on the gate. From where you are, we're now at midday. You can see just a little bit into the mine, but it gets real dark real fast.
Good thing we got all them torches.
Yeah.
So, Craig, you said they had warned us about the gate. Was it like
Just
Is
they
there something
they
dangerous on-
described it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's our
not
landmark.
warning like so it's not a surprise. So
It's
you
a
know,
trap. Yeah.
right,
Okay.
you know this is the entrance to the Stone Loom mines.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of look around the entrance a little bit to see if there's any signs of recent passage, like in or out or around the mines, either animals or people.
Yeah, why don't you give me a survival roll?
Why don't I give you a survival?
That's why.
No, it's a success.
No,
I'll
that was-
take it.
Yeah. So looking at the entrance, looking at the gate, what you notice about the gate is that the closed side, all of the hinged areas are all rusted, and you kind of pull the closed gate, and you can tell that, maybe if Aldrich and Osric helped you, you could potentially break off some of that rust and get this thing to open. You look over to the part of the gate that's open, and again, this gate extends, 7-8 feet above you. You see, still on the ground, a couple pieces of broken off rust. So with that one success, then you get the impression that within the last maybe 2 or 3 months, somebody opened this side of the gate.
Okay.
They did mention
Well,
the party of dwarves.
Yeah,
those
well, we know it hadn't been
cycles
open that
ago.
long. Okay.
Those 4 cycles, so that shouldn't. Wasn't cycles might be year, they might be month.
They're moons. They're months.
Okay. Okay. Well, anything we want to do before we head inside?
No, I think we're going exploring in a mine now.
Yeah. Just watch your feet. There tend to be a lot of rough areas and holes, so just be careful.
I hadn't really thought about it.
We're headed in.
Yeah.
So
Suppose
you guys
so.
walk. Oh, we walk through the half gate, and very quickly, it goes from this large entrance into a much tighter corridor. Maybe 6.5 foot tall, but Sten, Aldrich, and Osric, you could easily touch both sides of the hall with your hands if you stretched your hands out. So it's only a wingspan wide. Who's going to light my first torch?
I can do that. Cool.
Good start.
That's right. It's fine. It's fine. We've got like
These are fast burning torches, but they're brighter.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Osric, you light the torch. And you guys start to work your way down the hall. And it winds a bit. Vasilla, you can tell by the intricate designs on the walls that this is a dwarven mine. You've recognized the runes and the kind of the style of the pillars that are holding this up. And you come to an entranceway. And the air has been stale as you've been walking through this. But as you get to this entranceway, you can feel a breeze coming from the entranceway. It makes the torch flicker.
Is there supposed to be wind in a mine?
Usually only if there's another entrance, I'd think.
I'm sorry, Craig. One more time. We're walking down like essentially a tunnel, and there's an offshoot.
Nope. It ends with this entrance.
Okay.
And I'm not walking you guys through that entrance. I have you at
So like opening into a bigger chamber of some kind.
Opening into something, correct.
Okay.
And what stands out is that there's a light breeze coming from it.
Okay.
Well, suppose we should go and have a look.
No.
Yeah.
Can I get a sense of marching orders?
I think Osric is in front with the
Okay.
torch in one hand and his shield in the other. Obviously,
I'll
without the sword.
be happy to go next with the bow out.
I mean, it probably makes sense for me to carry the torch because slinging is a one-handed activity.
That's true.
And
That's true.
sword and shielding, not a one-handed
Also
activity.
true.
No, I'll buy that.
So, and she could
And Aldrich
light
doesn't
an-
have two hands.
if Vasilla's second right behind Osric, she can with the torch they'll give more than enough light for Osric to be able to navigate.
That's fine. I can shoot over her.
Okay, so Sten third and then Aldrich up the rear.
I'll take up the back. I've got the old heart scar in hand, using it kind of to walk.
So Osric, you're the first one to come through the entrance of this area, and you stop because you immediately can understand the source of this breeze because you are at a landing. And as Vasilla comes out to this landing, it lights it up, and you can tell that this is a large shaft. It extends up farther than you can see, and it extends down farther than you can see. But there are carved stairs that lead down and Z switch back as far as you can see. You can see about 15 feet.
Stairs up as well, or just down?
Just down.
And there's no daylight or anything coming from
Oh,
above.
God, no.
I wasn't sure how below ground we were.
Super below.
Yeah, and just so you know, just roughly speaking, you haven't really gone up or down much, right? Though it's
But we're under the
somewhat
mountain.
difficult to tell. But you are going deeper into the mountain. So the amount of earth above you is a lot more than obviously before.
Sure. Well, I guess we go down.
And there's no, I guess, around is, I guess, a question. Does that make sense? It's sort of there's
Like
the
a
hole,
ledge around
and
the.
then there's
Yeah.
not like an around, and can we see the other side, whether or not there might be a doorway over there or anything like that.
So you can see the other side of the shaft. The shaft itself is probably only about 15 by 15. And then, like I mentioned, the stairs just switch back, headed down. It's hard to tell farther than the light of the torch can tell you. But as far as seeing the other side of the shaft, it's just all smooth.
Okay.
Just carved stone.
Down it is.
Oh, the dwarves sure can't dig a damn hole.
I mean, D is for dwarfs and digging.
So
Isn't it just?
the four of you very cautiously start heading down the steps. The steps themselves are maybe only 3.5 foot wide. And one slip would allow you to find the bottom very quickly.
Oh, you mean there aren't OSHA compliant guardrails?
No.
Hmm.
And it doesn't seem to end. One step after another step after another step. And the air seems to change as you slowly work your way down this mine shaft. It gets wetter. It's almost like a humidity. It gets a little colder. It smells of mold. Eventually you get to the bottom. And it's taken you a good 3 hours to work your way back and forth down these steps. Almost impossible to know just how deep you are. I need a fresh torch roll.
Just
don't
my
look
knees
at me.
hurt now. I can't imagine what it's going to look like on the way up.
You get to a new landing, and the stairs stop. By the stairs on the landing, there's an identical entranceway. And Vasilla, with the torch kind of bleeding light through the entranceway, you can see that it's another hall, another tunnel, similar to the one that brought you in, that's extending out. But across from the landing, a good 15 feet away, you see another landing with no stairs. And it also appears to have a hall that's extending out.
Like, are dwarfs known for jumping? Did I?
And just so you know, the shaft continues down. The stairs stop, but the shaft continues down.
Are there like?
Is there a path to the other hallway opposite us, or? Huh.
Is it jagged edges between like the landings towards each other, like if there was a bridge reaching
There
its fall
doesn't
through?
appear to have been any type of structure that connected it.
I don't believe the dwarves were known for jumping any more than the halflings.
That seems like shitty design.
So
Well, we're not
Out
going
of
that
it.
way.
into the room.
I mean, Aldrich can fly.
Let's-
No? Hold on. Let me.
we can go the other way.
Yeah, let's just go into the room that we don't have to jump across
I
a
mean-
15-foot chasm.
Sure.
I could get us all across if that is our want.
Well, let's look and see what's here first.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And
Let's all
we
keep our
can't see
teeth
the
in our
bottom
mouth.
still, correct?
What's that?
We still can't see the bottom. It
Oh,
keeps
no,
going
no,
in
no,
the
no.
cell. You can just making sure I'm not.
I mean, we could
you know.
toss a torch down and see how far it goes, but
Yeah, we only have
I
so
don't
many
know.
of those.
A million.
So, you
So many
start,
torches.
you start along the hallway, and it goes a good 40, 50 feet. The hall is no smaller than the hall that brought you in from outside. But for some reason for you, Vasilla, it feels smaller. What do you think might be giving her that feeling? Why does she feel like it's smaller, even though right brain, you know it's the same distance, but it just feels tighter?
Yeah, I think it's the I think it's the sound of our walking. Like it just sounds like deader. Like it sounds a little bit tighter, like the just the
Weight
sound
of
of our
the
steps
mountain
on
on
steps
top
and
of
like
you.
and heart steel, just like as his little cane stepping, just sounds like a tighter hall.
It finally does open up to a large chamber. The roof is no taller, and you are able to fill most of it with just the one torch. You can see off to your left that a hallway exits, but you also see a small hole opposite of your door in the wall itself.
How high up?
About 5 foot,
Okay.
and it's
How many-
only maybe the size of a like a volleyball.
Okay. Is there any sign of what, if anything, this room might have been used for?
So looking around, you can see some rotted wood, some very corroded metal, and a few tools. So Aldrich, as best as you can tell, it looks like maybe they were building something here. Maybe this is where they constructed mine carts, because there's a couple wheels that you can see. So it seems to be some sort of workshop, but a workshop that hasn't been used for not only decades, but maybe even centuries.
Sure. Bunch of junk at this point.
Yeah. Is there still any of those markings on the walls that we saw up above?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All dwarven.
No one. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Osric is going to make his way over towards the carved-in hole in the wall.
If you're going to stick your arm in the hole, make Aldrich do it, because Craig would never cost him both his arms.
Not convinced.
So
Is it
Osric,
shaking the demon's face?
you cross over, and
if Vazilla's too far away, I'm going to light another torch.
no, Facil can be close
Yeah,
to you.
I'll come with you.
The air in this room is still stagnant. The draft from the mine shaft is long gone as you went down that hallway. You can smell the wetness, except when you get closer to this hole. It smells faintly of the surface. And I think Osric, you quickly figure out that this is probably a ventilation shaft. You can see that it very quickly heads up. but it's too small even for Vasilla.
How do they even do that?
Quite crafty.
What's really starting to, I wonder, make each of you feel a little unnerved is how amplified every step is. If Aldrich's chainmail, if it clinks just right, it just seems louder as the sound is bouncing off of the walls. Vasilla, with your torch, you walk over with Osric, and he's looking kind of up and into this small ventilation tube, right? I'm imagining you're holding your torch, trying to give him as much light as possible and looking up at him. And I think you hear it first. You hear like a scratching above you. And it causes you to kind of shift your torch. And you quickly see a glint of eyes that then shifts away very quickly. But there's definitely movement on the ceiling.
I think there's rats, guys, or the flying kind.
Those are bats.
Bats.
Yeah. And there's something up there. They don't make like halfling eating rats in mines, do they?
Who knows what the dwarves have?
I'm going to ask a weird question, Craig.
Okay.
I'm not sure I can
Good
get
strong.
an answer to this.
Strong start.
Can we tell like how far apart the eyes are? Like, are we talking?
Well, it's right now. Right now,
Hmm.
only Vasilla saw it. And
Oh, okay.
Vasilla, you get the sense of, based on the size of the eyes, that maybe whatever that was the size of maybe a small dog. It's definitely bigger than any rat or bat you've ever
Rodents
seen.
of extraordinary size.
I don't believe they exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. What would a dwarf mine rat even eat that would make it real big? Like, could it be dog-sized ones? You know, it's like a little yappy dog kind.
You hear more of the scratching, and it seems to be coming from two different directions now. And you're trying to get that torch to capture it, right? To follow that sound, but you just can't seem to get to it. There seems to be a shadow maybe at one moment when you're there, but whatever you're trying to do, and it sounds like maybe there's two sources now, and you can't seem to get the torch in the place in this room and that part of the ceiling to be able to capture it, but you always are getting this sense of movement.
I'm not gonna go ahead and knock an arrow just on general principles.
Okay, I've got an arrow knocked from Sten. Osric?
Yeah, I'll draw Rustbite and keep my eyes on the ceiling.
And Aldrich, you've had the axe out the whole time, right?
Yeah, I kind of hoisted up from like walking stick position to like now I'm like hefting it, and I'm also like looking up at the ceiling.
As Vasilla is trying to light it for you, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Dave?
Hey there, little guys. We're just looking for some heart ruby things. Don't suppose you guys know where that is.
Scratch. You hear the scratching, and then the dropping. 5 of them drop from the ceiling. You bring the torch down, and you've never seen these things before. They've got beady little red eyes. They come up about to Osric's knee. They're humanoid. They've got black shadow-like skin, little tiny horns, little tiny wings, but a maw of teeth. You know what we're about to do, right?
Either roll initiative or go to credits. I can see it either way.
I think we should roll initiative.
They're gonna
These guys
provide
seem
a
silly.
small feast in our honor for opening the gates for them.
All right.
That's a lot.
So highlight your token, and then you should have the macro to draw your card.
One card.
One card only. Let's see.
We got a 4 from Aldrich. All right. We'll let our little demons do the same.
That's awfully presumptive.
That's a lot of demons.
It's more of them than there are of us. But they're tiny,
now.
so it's probably fine.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So marching orders, we have 2 demons. Then we've got 3 of you, 2 demons, 1 of you, and then a demon. So what order do we want to set for the 4 of you?
Well, you got any exciting magic, Aldrich, or do we want to let Vasilla sing us the song of her people?
Yeah, that's probably for the best. If that's her plan.
So Vasilla first.
It seems like the go-to plan.
Okay.
Sure.
I think we can flex from there.
All right. So I've got Vasilla, then Aldrich.
Sure.
Who do we want second? Third? Sten or
Aldrich,
Sten's
fine.
fine.
Okay.
We're good with this order?
Yeah, it should be fine.
So these things drop down and they're fast. And Vasilla, with your torch, they seem to be part of every shadow. So as your torch is moving across and the legs of one of your compatriots is casting a shadow as you move the torch, they seem to fold into those shadows as they're popping around. But one of them immediately goes to bite you, Vasilla.
Oh, no.
How very dare you?
Do you wish to dodge for a fast action?
Dodge makes me fall on the ground, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can take like a minus to not fall on the ground. I can't remember what the minus.
I think it's a -1 die if you drop a die in your dodge.
No, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to use halflings. I'm going to use my talent, which I probably get to
-2 not
use.
to fall down. Thank you, Rosu. What do you can use your talent?
I'm going to use my talent. So I guess I can spend willpower points in combat to avoid being hit by physical attacks. Every willpower spent eliminates 1 of the attacker roll. So I guess I get to know what you hit me with, and then dodge using how hard to catch.
Yeah. So I got 2 successes.
Then I will use 2 willpower to dodge it.
So this thing scurries, and this thing comes up just above your waist, and it comes out of that black shadow, but you can see the whiteness of the teeth as it comes. It goes to chomp. So what is it about a halfling? What is this kin talent that allows you to be so shifty? I don't know the word.
I think it's like bred into us, right? Like dwarves can stick to it. Like I have like this like base power, like really stick to it. And halflings are just like we're small in a world of terrible things, right? So, so I think it's just like very like our eyes are just a little quicker, our movements are just a little quicker, our a fear of getting like caught is just a little quicker in social situations and in physical situations. It's just like very like culturally there. It's nervous system there, and so I just dodge. You just like flitch out of the way before it is because you're scared that if that human sword ever actually hits you, you are toast.
So the way this little thing charged at you, you could hear its nails as it scratches on the stone ground, the claws of its feet, and its little wings. It almost was half flying as it made the charge. You dodge away, and you could just see go, as it thought it was going to get your leg, and it just goes past you. Next one's going to go for Aldrich.
All right.
All right, no successes.
Sweet.
So Vasilla.
So I'm going to let out a shout of surprise as I'm dodging back, and I'm going to just like yell fiercely with the same kind of fierceness that you guys have seen multiple times when she's put in a corner, right? She just like takes her torch, like stands up like fiercely in front of it and like howls like screaming at the void out in front of her like fiercely. I'm going to spend 2 willpower to give you guys the +2 with my Path of the Warcry, which I've placed in the chat for those folks watching at home.
Beautiful. So you let out the cry. One of them missed you, Aldrich. You're able to dodge it as it kind of flew up. And this one gained a little bit of air, came off and was coming more right around like your upper waist area. Vasilla has dodged one. We are now at Aldrich.
Mm-hmm. So as this one kind of swings by me and Vasilla lets out this cry, I'm going to just swing the axe at it. And hit him with a battle axe.
Axe wizard.
Axe wizard. With an additional 2 dice, thanks to our bard.
Axe bard.
That looks pretty good.
Tell me how you kill it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, so I just, like, as I said, like, Vasilla lets out this cry, and Aldrich goes, just brings the axe up through it. And then, like, kind of surprised almost, just like, oh, it's gone.
And as you slice through it, the hole, the slice that you make with the blade of that axe, freshly sharpened from the previous day, cuts through it. It oozes. You can see like this black tar-like thickness come out of it before the whole thing falls to ash.
Cool.
Sten?
Well, I think I'm going to take a shot at the one that that was menacing Vasilla. So I'm not a fan.
Of Vasilla or the?
Well, I mean, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer.
And if he misses,
All right, so I've got 2 from Vasilla and 1 for sharpshooter. And how do we do the artifact die? Was it 1d12 that I put in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to write this.
I think that was it. Let's find out.
Hey.
Yeah, all right, I'll take it.
So you pull the bow back. You see one of these things go for Aldrich. You see it get sliced. You see another one that ran past Vasilla. It comes back around out of the shadows into the light. You shoot an arrow. It pins its wing, up against the stone wall, and you can see the black ooze coming from its wing, and it's got kind of like that, just like that crazy like bat-like sound, you know, that you can hear, and it's
I don't like it. No, sir.
Yeah, that's my line.
Wait a minute. I'm a fast shooter. I can shoot another one.
Do you as it's pinned against the wall? I'll give you an extra die for that.
He gets
No,
another shot.
I'm gonna leave that one there for right now. I'm gonna attack a different one.
Perfect.
Right. Same thing. Combat longbow. There and there. And that.
Another 2 damage.
Well, same thing. I'm not killing them, but I'm
you're doing damage though. So this
Yep,
one,
I'll take it.
another arrow goes flying. You'll need to roll for arrows again.
Yep.
This one sticks into the beast, and the arrow's there at its side, and you can see it just like on the ground, just grabbing at the arrow, trying to pull the arrow out of its side.
Okay.
Sten, that's gotten one of theirs attention.
Oh
So
dear.
as you pull
You made a friend.
As you pull the bow back, reaching for another arrow, you see this thing pull that arrow out, and now flying directly at your face.
Great. Yoink.
But it misses you. You pull your head to the side as you can just feel the wind of this thing just as it flies past you, chopping its little teeth. The last one feels bad, or the second to last one feels bad because it feels like it's left Ostrich out of all the fun. So Ostrich, as you're seeing all of this happen, another one takes a bite at you, and these things are not having much success. So they're just all of this is happening at once. We see these things coming in and out of the shadows. The only white is from their like 2 rows of teeth on the top and on the bottom, and it's just this skittering sound and the flapping of the wings and these noises as Ostrich dodges through it. Ostrich, what are you gonna do about it?
Well, since there's one in front of me, I guess I'm gonna smack him with a sword. Where are the remainder of them? There's one sort of next to Vasilla that's pinned to the wall.
The only one that you have tracked so far is the one that's pinned against the wall. The rest of them are coming in and out of shadows and skittering and just.
And there's the one that's right in front of me that just tried to bite me.
Yeah.
Okay. I will slash at the one in front of me.
And you get the full effect of Rust Bite. These are demons.
Oh.
So let's see.
Yeah, we're gonna add 5 to the demon count today.
I am sword fighter.
These guys are only light demons, so they count at half speed, so it's only 2.5.
They take a half demon inventory space.
Right.
Trying to... And so it changes from a D10 from a D8 to a D10 as an artifact die. And I have sword fighter, and I also get +2 for Basilla.
For Vasilla, yep.
This guy's is scary. I'm scared.
Nobody puts Vessi in a corner.
That's a lot of hits.
It is. Your head explode.
You did this to the one that just attacked you?
That's yeah. The one that came up at me.
You want to just describe the ash?
I think he, as it, kind of hacks at him, he angrily just gives it a giant swipe, and it just sort of cuts it right in half and sort of dissipates as it does. And
I'm imagining this guy like ran at you to come get you, like clanged right off your shield, and you're just like,
Really?
and as such, I will lose a point of empathy because that's how Rustbite works.
So
Does that apply
remembered.
when you kill monsters or just people?
So what? Well, what it says
Mhm.
on here, and I can maybe figure out how to do that. Do this. Nope, that didn't do it. What it says is each time the user causes an enemy to be broken with the sword,
Oh wow.
she suffers 1 point of damage to empathy.
Hmm.
Now,
Wow.
if there's something that says monsters don't break, then that
No,
would
they
be a
break.
thing. But I assumed that they did. So, yeah, cool.
As
Cool.
you slice, Osric, you can hear the flapping behind you
Swell.
of another one taking a bite.
And we
This
learned
one
that
did
I cannot parry monsters, correct?
correct. You cannot parry monsters.
But you can block them.
No, I can't.
Or
Parry
dodge
is
them.
what
Parry is
you
block
show,
as
like an
well.
attempted
Got it.
dodge.
Mhm.
I would like to attempt to dodge.
Okay, and if you -2 if you don't want to go prone.
I think I don't want to go prone.
I don't think you want to go prone.
I don't want to go prone. That's why I will -2. Oh, look, there's a little tick box for that standing dodge.
Oh, nice.
And it's not going to be a slash attack, so I'm not going to get the +2. So I'm going to roll my dodge attempt. It was not a good one.
So you slice this one. We see the ash, kind of that tarry ash, dissipate away, and you hear that, and they grab. You can feel it bite on your the inside of your calf of your left leg. You just feel the teeth kind of dig into you. So take 1 damage to your strength.
Does it ignore
Just
armor?
Oh no, it does not. So let's roll armor.
also, it just occurred to me looking at the damage description in the stat block. It does say damage type is slash, so it might be.
Oh shit, it did.
Oh, it is. You're right. What did that slash do for you?
If you dodge a
2
slash,
dice.
you get an extra 2 dice.
Okay. Do you want to roll? Just roll 2d6 real quick.
Yes, I do.
Look at these combat rules. We're so good at things.
Womp womp. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna do an armor thing. If I can figure out how to do that.
You should have just like an armor roll up at the top.
If you're in combat, the armor will, if you click it, it'll just bring up your whole armor
I thought
selection.
that too, but it is not doing that.
On your character sheet.
Open up your character sheet. Go to
Under
combat.
combat, armor
You see
bottom
the-
left.
see the title armor with the
I
dice
do.
next to it?
And when I
Just click
click,
it.
oh, there it is. It is down there. Sorry,
Aha!
it's not in the base or the skill. Yeesh. Gross.
All right. So take one.
Okay then.
And
One
that
to
actually
Go ahead.
causes damage to my armor, correct?
Because it does bite through it. Right.
Because it gets
So
through it. Is that right? I think that's
correct.
right. That was not great. That was not great at all. So I'm gonna take my 2. That's the end result of all of that.
No, only one. Yeah, 2 damage from the bite. 2 damage to strength. So this one's bit onto your calf, like the muscle of your calf. Back to the top of the order. The one that is pinned by Sten is going to go for Vasilla again.
Yeah, we'll probably do our switcheroo to put me at the
Let's
end.
the
so-
switcheroo right now.
Yeah.
You want to
drops.
go last, right?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
operating procedure.
Okay. Who's going to go first?
I mean, Ostric's a bit of a machine. I can go.
Yeah, I'm happy to
We can
swap
let-
over
we can let
there
him-
and
we
just
can let him go
Let
first.
those
It's
two
gonna
straight
end-
up swap.
It's gonna
Yeah,
super end badly.
Oh, you'll be fine.
you got this.
Uh-huh.
The first one going for Vasilla.
I'm going to actually dodge this time. So
Okay.
we go to dodge.
You got one
It's a
success.
slashing attack is what
It
it is.
is.
We decided.
You dodge it.
And I had standing dodge, so I'm standing still, standing tall still.
So this thing flaps past you, and you just you're just like a matador, right?
Olay.
just charging past you, and you just are sliding to the left, sliding to the right to avoid it. Osric.
Oh, well, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna stab at the one that's biting me.
Okay.
If I can remember how to do that. Let's do this. That goes back to a 10 again. And I still get the 2 dice from Priscilla. Cool.
Total of 2 damage from Rustbite.
A total of 2 damage for Rustbite.
It's going to be enough.
Oh, that doesn't help me at all. Sure, then cool. If it's enough, then it's enough.
You kill it.
I do, and as he does, I think he, kind of, since you say it's on like his calf, he gives it like a downward stab at it, and as it dissipates, you see his eyes sort of roll into the back of his head, because he is now broken from empathy damage.
Ooh.
So
We
you
need to
guys
work
have
on
fun.
that, sir, because
Let's
you're
fight fun.
not going to be a combat machine like this.
So-
It's a new rule that we had forgotten as I was killing many things, and now that we remember that rule, things will be
Yay,
different.
cursed artifacts.
Osric, as you stab the first, as you killed the first one, what is this feeling that causes this empathy damage? So mechanically, we know you have empathy damage. We know Rustbite's doing that to you, but I want to try to get an understanding of how this feels to Osric.
So I think what it is that it draws a hunger, a desire to do more damage, to do more destruction, and so he becomes less concerned about anyone else's well-being and welfare. But unfortunately for Rustbite, he doesn't have a lot of empathy to give to it, so it drains him very quickly.
And
Yeah, you're going to need to fix that.
what happens the second time? So you have that same feeling, and it causes you to shut down. And I want to know. I want to know what happens to Osric right now. What does Osric breaking look like?
I think that part of it is like he literally just, his eyes roll up into the back of his head, and he just faints over. Internally, I think it is this internal struggle of, the rage of all of these things, plus his, understanding that that is not necessarily how he really feels about combat in general. I think he tends to think of himself as a protector rather than a destroyer, and so it's this internal conflict that just basically overloads him to the point where he just passes out.
Aldrich.
Oh boy. I think seeing that there's still one pestering Vasilla and seeing that Osric's still over there, I'm gonna rush over there, just like screaming charge, and just go and try to chop at this other one and try to get between it and the two of them.
Yep, there's only 2 left. Take a swing.
Taking a swing. It's 2 more from Vasilla still.
Damn. Super dead. We have got 1 left, and you hear the flittering. You hear the nails. Vasilla's still trying to help track it as you're going through. I'm imagining Sten with his bow pulled back, ready to take out the next one as it's going through, and it just goes through the hallway that you came through. You can hear it flap down that hallway. You want to go after it.
Hope it doesn't have friends. I mean, it's long out of sight by the time I get my action, right?
No, if you want to chase it, you could still take a shot at it.
Yeah, I will try and take a shot because I'm concerned that it might have kinfolk down the hall.
Yep. And the only thing I'm going to ask is just a -1 because I'm not sure if Vasilla's going to be able to keep up with you for you to be able to get
Sure.
that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm not going to go like, well, let's see what happens. We'll see how far. Maybe I overextend. Or maybe I just shoot the crap out of it.
Roll for your arrow.
Sure. I think I hit this one by sound.
I was just thinking that you could hear the wings, right? And what tells you hit it is the squeeze.
Yes. All right then. Everybody all right?
I'm gonna put down the torch or like hand it over to Aldrich, and then gonna sit down with Osric and take on like the mother matronly duties. But I'm in this case I'm not gonna look for anything physically wrong for him. Like I've seen him do this bloodlust routine before, and so the way you fix broken empathy is with performance. So I will bring him back from the edge by kind of talking him through the steps that we've already figured out together.
Sun's getting pretty low, big guy.
Yep. To do that, I just you can use performance to bring them back to feet. Same way, but melee the number of things I roll. So performance.
So before you do that, does the liar give you a bonus?
I don't know the answer to that.
Do I take a critical from wits or from
No, you
empathy
don't.
breaking?
Only
No.
for which you
Just,
do. From empathy, you
just-
don't.
So you're
It's
going to get
strength
a
and
+1
wits.
gear bonus.
Okay, so
From the
performance.
You pull it out of Oscar's backpack as he's laying there on the ground.
Just roll over. I need this.
Just play the flute. It'll be fine.
Oh God!
Oh, yeah.
Please don't. Please don't.
I am going to push this because I am concerned about my friend my friend laying down in this horror show. So well, apparently I'm too horrified to be a good performer at the current time.
So you do heal 1. So
I'll
you're no
get
longer
1, though.
broken, Osric. You're at 1 empathy.
Fantastic. And I think he grumbles and holds his head and thank you, lass. Thank you.
This thing is dangerous and not just for demons. You know that, right?
It may be, but we need it. And so he'll sheathe the sword and sort of just back away from that conversation.
We need you more than we need it.
Agreed.
Well, let's go somewhere where there aren't creepy winged.
Bat monsters?
Do you think those were the dwarfs?
No, I think dwarves are taller than that usually, and I think they have wings.
But like
Those were demons, to be
cursed?
sure.
But they weren't the half-breed things like Zerto makes, are they?
Didn't think so.
Interesting
Don't look
question.
like it.
Oh.
Aldrich, you smell any magic on them?
I mean, the smell of demons kind of picks up some of the ash and just kind of sprinkles it and makes a face.
Are you ready to go, Osric, or do you need some time?
No, let's keep moving. And the fleeing demon that we did manage to catch went back the way we went, not the
Correct.
opposite tunnel
Towards
up
the
to the
shaft.
left.
So we're going through that left-hand passageway?
No.
Before we go through the left-hand passageway, is there anything odd on the right-hand side?
No.
Okay.
No. So the only thing is the passageway you came in from, the ventilation shaft that you inspected, and then this other passageway that was off to the left as you came in.
All right, well, let's form up.
So you head into that passageway, and almost immediately you miss all of the room you had in that workshop, despite the fact that it was infested with these little black shadow demons.
Do
As you're
no
back-
dwarves suffer claustrophobia?
And Aldrich, I have always imagined you being the tallest of the four of them, and I'm imagining, even though your head doesn't hit the ceiling, you just instinctively are kind of tilting your head a little bit to the right. Just that feeling like I feel like I will hit the top of the ceiling.
I feel my hair kind of touch the ceiling every once in a while. It's like, oh, God.
It's so uncomfortable when that happens. Like, just like sticks up a little bit.
Yeah.
You continue down the passageway.
Where have you ever been that your head touched the ceiling, Vasilla?
We don't build excessive homes like you knuckleheads.
You go down the passageway a good 20, 30 feet. And there's a sharp turn to the left. And as you take that turn to the left, you immediately see light. It's a sustained light. And it's almost like a rose blue color. As you look in to the room that opens up from the end of this passageway, it's pretty spectacular. Along the walls, you can see the remnants of benches, stone benches that were in rows. You can see the crumblings of a statue that was in the center of this room. You immediately see passageways continuing ahead of you across from the room and to the right. But the source of the light is from the ceiling. It's covered with this crystallized something. There's just crystals that are hanging down from the ceiling. And as you look to your left and to your right, you can see along the edging that there's some sort of fluorescent glow coming from some sort of maybe algae or mold or something that's on the very tops of the walls where close to these crystals. And it's the luminescence from this mold or whatever it is shining through this ceiling of crystals that's creating this almost prismatic effect throughout the whole room.
Oh, I want some of that.
We're going to go to credits. See you on the other side. So I am going to start off with a really great question that Connell put into the chat. So Coda asks, I want to learn more about Ostric's tension between being a shield slash protector and a sword, a sword slash
Ooh.
destroyer.
Me too.
Right? That'd be super cool to explore.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any more real answers for that. I do think that he started off as sort of a city guard, and I think that he's had some failings in protection, and so I think that part of that is why he has started to gain more in terms of uh, uh, attacking. Uh, but I think that Rustbite is definitely going to be a problem in that space. I think that it was before we realized the drawback rule. It was just a disgusting mess of being able to kill things. But now, like obviously, he cannot do that, right? He will
Yeah.
two things and it's over, right?
Yep.
He. So I think both he and I have to come to some sort of understanding of how and when Rustbite comes out, and how and when uh, you know either another weapon is used or no weapon is used, and so on and so forth. And I don't know all the answers for that yet. It is something that
Yeah.
I'm trying to work through.
The Rustbite easy button has gone away.
Oh, for
You're gonna
sure.
have you're gonna have to think a lot more about it. So for Jim and Dave, this is their second time going into a dungeon with Forbidden Lands with me. Because in our home game, you guys went into a dungeon together. What are you hoping? What was frustrating about the first time that you're hoping not to see again? And what did you enjoy about the first time that you want to see again? As we're doing a very traditional fantasy trope, which is going into a dungeon. Either of you have something?
Yeah, so for me, what I've really enjoyed with your Forbidden Lands, and maybe it's all Forbidden Lands, I don't know, is twists on fantasy tropes, right? Like, I mean, one of the things, there's a bunch of things like Forbidden Lands, but like describing the Minotaur or like the Harpies, or like there was a giant or an ogre or whatever it was back in the home one, and it just was like an Etten maybe. Anyway, but it's like cool seeing the Disney shine taken off of like the D&D 5e style and put it into like a real monster kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. I wouldn't mind less wandering around in mystery and feeling like you don't know what the hell's going on for hours.
So I put them through the Malified Mage, which is one of the small uh, um, supplements that you get for Forbidden Lands, and I think the Malified Mage is a good dungeon, but they as a group got very frustrated because they couldn't quite figure out what was happening and how it all worked. And unfortunately, when we moved on to another game, they were right on the brink of it, figuring it out. But I, as a GM, allowed it to drag too long. That was a pacing failure on my part. So stars and wishes for today, Dave.
So I think Star's got to go to Osric, right? I think there's a new branch in his storyline that is interesting and fun, and I think is ripe for character growth, which I think has been one of the really cool things about this campaign. Is I think we've all had character growth moments, except for Sten, who's like calcified.
Yes. Sten has finished his arc.
Yeah, he just keeps on plodding along.
He's at the end of that rainbow,
right? Just cranky and old. So I think it's got to go to Jim, and I think it's got to go to Osric.
Okay,
And
wishes.
then wishes, and stars, wishes, I'm really happy that we finally got some info dump. I thought you did a good job with not just being like, here's my Deckard Cain voice and here's the info, right? I thought it was interesting. So I really enjoyed that. I'm enjoying, like, I think it was a good break and I'm happy to kind of like get back into the next leg with a little more experience, a little more knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
digging.
Nate, stars and wishes.
Stars. I just
Remember, it can be a moment. It can be anything.
I think as a moment when you described Rook's eyes as yellow, and just there was that just a collective moment of yep. All right. Wishes. I don't know. I'm excited to be in a dungeon. I like it. There's new shine. There's literal glowing fungus, or algae. So.
Oh my god, you're releasing the Nate inner, just like, I go and touch the button. I push it.
Like,
I want
oh,
I want that.
What's this up there? What's this? Oh, can I reach with the axe? Can I touch
How's
it?
it taste?
All right. So, did you give me your wish?
I wish to see what awaits us in this this mine.
In our underground
that
dungeon?
algae is what he just said.
See who. Look, I wasn't gonna say it that outright.
Sten, Brian, stars and
yeah.
wishes.
So, I mean, I will agree that Jim did a great job with the Osric lack of empathy moment. I think that's going to be interesting. But I think my actual star moment has to go to the Vasilla and Sten combo training montage.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
Just,
cute.
we didn't play it out in detail, but I just the visuals of it. I think we all have a pretty.
We
good
all know
idea of how
exactly
that
what
went.
happened.
It's so fun, right? That you don't even have to, but we all know
Exactly.
what happened there.
Yeah,
The
we know these
banter.
characters well enough. We can all visualize it. And then, as
What are you
far
wishing
as
for?
I mean, we need to start collecting more experience again. I'm out.
Yes,
I've got a
it's
huge pile of experience in my pocket for weeks.
Gets one day to
And,
spend experience, and he's all about it now.
Exactly. So yeah, I just want to find more interesting things, which I'm sure we will.
I'm sure you will as well. Last but not least, Jim.
My star moment was the moment where Vasilla heard he and the trickster, and I'm super excited that it comes back to my Dal Marigal theory. So that's super cool. But that moment where I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean he? No, she's a she, and it's like, oh no, he does what he wants, and that was really cool. As far as wishes, I want us to figure out a way to get across to the other side.
I have a way to get across. The question is getting back if we have to.
I don't know. I want a way that isn't Aldrich flings us all with magic, because that sounds.
It's not.
What
it's
could
not
go wrong?
Flinging. You have no faith. No faith.
Like
Oh.
I want there to be a secret bridge, or like like the Indiana Jones thing where there's
Right,
like an
I'm
invisible
thinking
bridge
that.
that is
I
just
thought of
there
that
and you
too.
can't see
Yeah.
it.
The lever's on the other side. We just have to get over there and flip
or like
it.
a
Only
secret
the idol.
lever, or something like that, right?
Throw me
Like
the magic.
there's a secret lever in the algae room or something like that that lets you get there. I don't know
All
what
I
want,
know.
but I want it.
All I know is that. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. All I know is this is a terrible mine design because there's no place where they've actually been cutting stone or metal out, and there's no, there's like wheels of carts, but there's no tracks or anything. How are they going to get stone out of here? This is a terrible design.
Awful dwarfs.
It's
No
magic.
good.
It's magic. They literally like stone bend, right? That's the whole deal.
If we find any more magic, none of us are going to have any stat points left. So.
That is a
All right,
different problem.
let's quickly do XP. Anybody got the chart up?
I do.
Yeah.
So
Found a
one
new
for
place.
participating, one for traveling through a new hex, one for discovering a new adventure site, one for defeating one or more monsters. We haven't found a treasure. We didn't do a stronghold. Anybody do pride or dark secret?
Top secret.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. And did you risk your life for another PC? I don't think anything was that life threatening yet. Perform an extraordinary action of some kind.
I don't think so.
All right, so 4.
Nice.
And 5 for
Dark
Vasilla.
secrets. Yep.
5 for Vasilla. All right. See everybody soon.
Sweet. Thanks, folks.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.